Hey guys, today I have got another 3 to Inspire challenge for you over on the Citrus Twist blog, and I'm going to work in my traveler's notebook today. This is actually like my reading notebook, and I wanted to do a page in here because I've been reading up a storm this year and I haven't been documenting as I go, so time to do a little bit of a catch up. Now I've grabbed this tag and I've already run it through my typewriter to put my journaling on there. So the first part of this challenge is I want you to include some sort of hidden journaling. So I'm going to use my photo and create a little flap with that with some washi tape later on, and that's going to create my hidden journaling. But I wanted to make sure that I got my journaling on there. My reading notebook is one of those notebooks where I do actually put journaling on every spread, and I wanted to make sure that it was there. So I've already done my little tag. Now the next part of this challenge is to use as many die cuts as possible. The Citrus Twist kits always have these huge pack of die cuts, and I barely ever make a dent in them, and you'll see today even the amount of die cuts that I use, it still doesn't really make a dent. So use as many of these die cuts as you can. My plan for them is I'm going to fill my page. Well, certainly I'm going to fill at least half of my page. I want to create a diagonal. So I'm going to start from the bottom left-hand corner and work my way up to the top right-hand corner of my spread. And I'm going to kind of just fill in, I mean, it sort of becomes a grid. I'm just going to fill in as much of this page with die cuts as I can. I don't want to overlap anything, and I just want to fill in as many of those little gaps as I can, but I'm also kind of sticking with a particular color scheme. When I first saw that chill die cut on the left there, that was what sort of based my page off, because I had really enjoyed this book, The Bees, and so I spent a lot of time just taking breaks in my work day. Luckily enough, I work from home, I'm able to do that, to sit down, have a coffee and read a few pages. So chill really worked from there, and that was what I wanted to base my color scheme off. So it's got a little bit of pink, it's got a little bit of orange, and I'm adding the yellow because of the book cover, it was yellow, and that's kind of my color scheme. I am going to add a few little pops of teal in there, not a huge amount, just a few little pieces, but really tending more towards those sort of corals, oranges and yellows, with a lot of black and white in there as well. Now the third part of my challenge is to use puffy stickers, and luckily I've got a whole sheet. I haven't used these yet, but a whole sheet of these puffy stickers, and the colors work perfectly with the color scheme that I've gone for with the die cuts, so that should not be an issue. Now everything I've just kind of placed down on the page so far, and I want to make a little bit more of a commitment here. So I'm gonna start gluing things down, and I just want to start with my journaling and my tag, making sure that I've got enough room to add this chill word in here. I don't need to worry so much about my photo, I'll deal with that in just a second, but before I start messing around and moving all of these die cuts, I want to try and stick down as many as I can. Now the way I've put them down is kind of just a guideline at this point, because I'm also going to add in a bunch of, like I said, puffy stickers, but I also really want to use some of the stamps from the stamp set. So as I go about sticking things down like this, I'm always open to changing things up. Like that little pink heart, it felt like the pink was just a tiny bit different from the other pinks that I've used on the page. So in the end, I swapped that out for a yellow puffy sticker. Now these puffy stickers are lovely and not too bulky, so I don't mind using them in my traveler's notebook. Even though this is the start of my notebook, it's not going to make anything too difficult going forward. Now here I am, the photo kept slipping around as I was going, so I decided I would just make my little flap now, and that kind of adheres that down. I'm going to use just a little bit of washi tape, but this washi tape doesn't really have enough stick, so I'm also going to use my tape runner and just run that across the top of the washi tape, and that way it will give me enough stick. Another option is that you could use this same technique. When you flap it up, you could add another piece of washi tape under there. I just want to use the tape runner just to make sure that everything's going to stay stuck and it never eventually just fall off. And so now I've got that photo stuck down, I can go ahead and start sticking everything else down. I am going to work in one direction. When you're doing this kind of technique, it pays to work, and it doesn't matter which way. I'm going to work from the bottom up, just to make sure that if you sort of start randomly sticking things down, you may well end up with odd spaces or things having to layer on top of each other, and that is definitely not the look I'm going for. I'm going really flat and really graphic today, no layers at all, so totally flat. You can see here I've decided before I go ahead and start sticking everything down, I do want to add a little bit of stamping, and the stamp set from the kit is going to be really easy because there's lots of little fun phrases in here, and I'm just going to randomly use them kind of like die cuts themselves and just add them into the grid. Now this one here was a little bit more solid, so I just wanted to make sure I got a nice solid stamping of that, so I primed the stamp with my sand eraser before I went and stamped it. The other ones are mostly just text, so it's not an issue. I only really do that with the solid stamps like that. You can see I'm adding lots of little puffy stickers in here. The tiny hearts are awesome fillers. When I've got a gap that feels too big, I just put a tiny little sticker in there and it visually fills it up, and it just helps to get that feeling of solidness through the page. So it really does give me that, that look of a diagonal going up the spread. I am moving things around as I go. Again, once I start adding those puffy stickers in, sometimes it needs some of those die cuts moved just a tiny piece, and I decided to fill in the little gap between my tag and the center of my spread here as well. So mostly I'm just going to use puffy stickers for that because it's a really easy way to add in those little fillers. I am going to go back in and add just a couple more of these even tinier stamps. They're just tiny little word stamps rather than the bigger sentiments. I'm going to use those to fill in a few of those visual gaps as well. And then I can add a couple more puffy stickers and I'm pretty much going to be done. The only thing I want to do now is I want to fill the back of my photo. It's just photo paper and it does have the logo, the Canon logo on it. So I wanted to fill that in so that when you flip the photo up to look at the journaling, there is something visually interesting in there as well. So I'm just going to trim down a little piece of pattern paper. Again, I'm sticking with the color scheme and using this really pretty yellow. And I'm just going to glue that straight onto the photo, just straight onto the back of it, so no layers again on there. I don't want to make anything under here too bulky, but I do want to add a little bit of interest, so I am going to put a stamp and another little die cut on here. And again, I'm just going to stamp that straight onto the paper. There's nothing behind there, so it stamps really nicely. And then I'm going to add back in the little die cut heart that I thought was too pink for the rest of it. It works really nicely under the flap, and that's this page all done. Again, if you want to join in this challenge, the 3 pieces to use for inspiration are as many embellishments, die cuts as possible, include some hidden journaling, and use some puffy stickers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!